Well, since we do have everybody here, we might as well get started early, and maybe that way we'll get out. So this is why I did this, so parents, please feel free to take pictures. Not very often do you get these guys all cleaned up and looking good on a stage together. So please, if you want to come up front, don't hesitate, especially as we talk about the boys individually, and we give out the awards. Please don't hesitate, come up and take pictures. It's a great opportunity, especially for when they get to be seniors and you got to do a senior graduation party. You want to have these pictures ready to go. So please help yourself to take pictures. But before we get started tonight, I do have some thank yous I want to run through. Without these people, none of this is possible. We don't have a soccer program here at the school. So first I'd like to thank the Board of Education for allowing myself and Justin to continue coaching and doing what we do, and the great support that they've given us, along with our superintendent Bob Dunn. Also our high school administration with Mr. Sigworth and Mr. Harsh. You probably saw them at a lot of the games, out there supporting the boys as well. And also our athletic director, Pat Ewell, who's not with us, but he will be with us shortly, a little bit later. And his secretary, Sarah Corley, for making sure that everything gets done scheduling-wise into the system so you guys have access to that. Also to Brian Kinter, Jeremy Jones, and Dave Hilligas for their work on keeping the field up to date, mowed, lined, ready for games, so we can be out there and have a nice home field to play on. We have one, surprisingly, and as you've seen, we have one of the better home fields, or grass fields in our league that we play in. So very thankful for the work that they do. Also, Anna Jarvis and the bus drivers for getting us to the away games on time, if not even early. Probably one of the most important people that we need to recognize is Brooke Yingling, for making sure these boys stay healthy and able to play. Soccer is one where you see lots of injuries, especially nagging injuries that go on all season. Without her help, it'd be very difficult to be able to get these guys through the season. And also to our athletic boosters and space programs, as they definitely help offset a lot of the cost. Whether it's buying uniforms, repairing goals that we did over the summer, or even just helping buy the supplies that we need. So they are hugely important. And also, they're not here tonight, but I definitely want to make sure I thank my wife and children. They allow me to do this. So they understand how passionate I am about this. So without their understanding, sorry, giving up evenings to be here with these guys, which I enjoy so much, they're great understanding. My wife, for the past, 13 years, has put up with this. So thank you to her. And my daughter, as you can see, she's really ecstatic about it. She's a ball girl pretty much throughout the whole season. And I was just as hard on her as I was the boys when she messed up with stuff, getting the ball in play and stuff. So how I treat my kids is exactly how I treat these boys. I consider them part of my own kids for this season, so it's really a joy to get to come out here and they make that possible. And lastly, and probably most importantly, especially this year with my summer that I had, as a lot of you know, I was busy on strike and having to be other places. So without Justin, this summer would have been very hectic, so I thank him for all of his hard work and dedication and having to be at the fair and do things like that. He steps in and fills in the role that I need to. So I want a lot of people to thank, a lot of important people that make this program run, and without them and without the support of you guys, which is, you know, outside of Justin, my number two most important people that I have to have, you guys are what make these guys who they are, which I'm so blessed to be able to get to coach them because of the young men that they are, and that attributes directly to you guys as parents. So I appreciate you guys. Let's give these guys a round of applause and we'll start there. So before I dive into anything, I always like to turn it over to Justin. He gives a short little recap. He always has something to say, so I have to share the mic with him. He's very vocal. He always wants the stage, so I'll make sure he gets his time up here and he has plenty. Now, if we run late, you know it's because of Justin, so just be aware of that.
I promise I'll keep it short. I just want to thank all you guys for working so hard this year, especially you three seniors. You guys had to carry the team and be the leaders for the past 2 years. So, that means a lot to us and all the work you put into it. I'd like to thank the parents also, driving them around, the team dinners, everything you guys did. Oh, you can. And, this year was a good year because, in addition to most of the guys coming back, we got a lot of good freshmen to join you guys. We got some, guys we can rotate a little bit. We had a few guys coming off the bench. So I think we have a lot to build on for next year. Thanks again to you three seniors. We'll miss you guys next year. And, I've never coached a high school team without you guys, so you'll be missed. And I wish you all the best of luck.
Okay, so I don't want to ramble on too long, but I think it is important that, and this is always the time of year that I look forward to the most. I'm highly passionate about soccer. I love soccer. I live and breathe it every day. But this, as the whole season, this is the thing that I look to the most because we get to recognize the work that these young men have done, that they put in. They've made a lot of sacrifices to do this also. So, I love the games, I love practices, team dinners, bus rides. Those things are all fun and great, but this is the time that I enjoy and cherish the most because we do get to recognize them. Because, again, Justin and I can speak to this from experience, but and they're living the moment now. But when you get old like us, these are the things that you'll look back on and remember the most is being part of this program and getting to be, make friends that maybe you wouldn't have done so if you didn't have soccer and athletics in your life. So I do enjoy this, and I hope you're not too bored with what I am. I do like to recognize each and every athlete, and we'll do that as a group. Usually what I'll do is call up the freshmen, but what I've done in the past, I've always, as I spoke about them, just said what awards they've gotten, and I feel like the awards part got looked over a little bit, and that's the whole reason we're here tonight, is to recognize the awards. So we're going to do that in 2 different sections so everybody can get recognized a little bit clearer. And the parents, which you guys are here to support them, you definitely can recognize what awards that they're receiving rather than just a big clump of awards that they take back to their seat and then sit down and you're like, oh, what did they get? So there'll be lots of opportunities for pictures and going forward. So to speak on the season, for those of you, the boys program has been around for 28 years now, 28 or 29 years. 1995 was the first year for a boys program. Before that, it was a co-ed program. So when I look back statistically, and Justin and I like to look at statistics, we like to look at the analytics and go through those things. Southeast hasn't had a lot of success in soccer, which is tough because it's something that we grew up doing and we are very passionate about, and that's why we're here and we're trying to build a program. And I think we've done a great job, and it's really starting to show with our efforts. But our 8-10 season, a lot of people look at that and go, "Well, you weren't even 500. You know what? That's not a good season, or wasn't very well." A lot of people don't understand, especially the seniors do and the parents do. But the past 2 years we went 2-12, 2-14, and 2. To be able to go to 8-10, and looking back on it, I look back at the Crestwood game where we hit the post 3 times and had an opportunity to win that game. I look at the Garfield game early in the year, which we should have won. Obviously, we saw what we did in the playoffs against them. There's 3 or 4 games that we probably could have won and should have won on paper. But it wasn't, and in the end, 8-10 is still one of the top 8 seasons in school history. So in 28 years, an 8-win season is one of the top. Not a lot of teams have double-digit win seasons. That doesn't come regularly. So it's exciting to see because it's something that Southeast hasn't necessarily experienced. If you look back through the records, there's not been many years where you have successful seasons back-to-back, which is evident with our 2020 season when we won the league and then we went 2-12 the next year. You don't necessarily always get a big run of soccer players and developing a program that runs through. Justin and I are excited because we've talked about this many times. And I'll say this to the freshmen now, take nothing away from the seniors. They carried the team for the past 2-3 years, and we enjoyed that. But it was great to get to watch what bringing in some fresh blood who doesn't know what it's like to lose can really do to a team. And these freshmen have an opportunity, I truly believe in them, as I think they believe in themselves, that in the next 4 years they could be the most winning soccer programs to go through school history. And I think that's a great thing. Absolutely. So, and that's my challenge to them. My challenge to them is this has got to be the standard now. 8, 9, 10 wins a season has got to be the standard. We can't be accepting 2, 3 win seasons anymore. And that starts really now. That starts in the off season. That starts, what are we going to do? How are we going to get ourselves better? How are we going to develop? If we think we're going to come out here and win 8 games a season, just playing from end of July to October every year, we can stay with a 2-win season, a 3-win season. Go out and beat some of these co-ed teams that we should be able to beat. But if we want to continue the standard of a successful and developing and getting better and be able to make it deeper into the playoffs, I truly think we should have, been able to beat LCC in that game. And I think, and I went to the LCC and Woodstown game, we could have beat Woodstown in that next game. And now we're looking at districts. And I think that's a challenge I would like to set for these freshmen. In the next 3 years, I expect and hope that this team will make it to districts. That's only happened 3 times in school history. So that's a big challenge ahead of these guys, these young guys, and I think we got a good group that will carry us through to be able to do that. But they didn't do it alone. These freshmen weren't alone. The sophomores and juniors and seniors, they put in their time, they put in the work. I look back to last season when we only had 13 guys. These guys, they could only tell stories to the young guys of what it was like. Some games we showed up with 11 guys to play a game, and we hoped we'd make it through. Some games we ended up only having 10 guys or 9.5 guys because we had guys out there playing injured the whole time. And they put in the work, and it's because of that also we saw this success. So the important thing that I hope these guys can take away is not just one player or 2 players that make or break a good team. Especially if you follow the playoffs as it went with Willoughby, Andrew Osborne, which was out of our district. They're number 1. They were the state champions this year. So we have a lot of very talented soccer here in Northeast Ohio. That team was the number 1 team in our region. We were number 11, which those of you didn't know, we went from being 33 out of 34 last year to being the number 11 out of 32 this season. So that's a huge. Those kind of statistics are what speaks volume to us. I think last year, if I remember right, we scored 16 goals. This year we scored 40-some goals. I think Blake scored as many goals this year as we did all together as a team last year. And I think Gavin did as well. So that just speaks volumes. And it wasn't these 2 guys doing it individually. As a whole support in which you see these guys sitting up here, everybody played a major role. Whether it was on the field, at practice, making everybody get better, that's the most important thing that we saw. And the important thing that I saw is every one of these guys, and I'll talk about them individually, we saw a tremendous amount of growth out of them, which is great, but there's still room for even more growth, and that's what we want to see as we go forward. I've been very privileged in 13 years of coaching high school soccer to see many talented players go on to play at the next level, whether it's Division III, Division II, Division I, or even professional. With getting to see talent. And I can tell you right now, I see at least 6, 7 guys sitting on this stage that has potential to go on to play at the next level if they choose to. And I say choose to because it is a difficult choice to make. School at the next level or soccer at the next level is difficult. It's difficult to manage. I'll tell you firsthand. It's hard to manage. I couldn't do it, which is why I had to step away. But I see there's guys up here that have that talent and that ability to go on to the next level if they choose to do so, which I hope they do. It may not be, a lot of times we think, oh, I'm going to go play for Akron. Well, that reality is not there. I can tell you, none of you will be playing for Akron, as they're one of the top teams in the nation, but a lot of you have an opportunity to go on and play at the next level. Whether it's Division II, Division III, and there's even potential for Division I's out there. And it's what you choose and what you make of it. But I will say this, the athletes that I've got to coach who've gone on to play at the college level. They certainly didn't do it from July to October. It became their job. We talked about this at practice, about you guys, the parents, going out there. You don't go to your work just a little bit. I mean, it's a career, it's something you're dedicated to. You work to hone that skill and to become professional at it. And I think these guys all up here have an opportunity to do something. It's just how much work do they want to put into it to see the success that they want to see. So, it's something that, even if it's not playing travel or club soccer or premier level soccer, it's hitting the weight room in the off season. It's going to camps. We're very fortunate that we have a lot of universities around us. They all offer summer camps where you can go to. It's getting out in your own backyard and practicing juggling every day, getting 1,000 touches a year or 1,000 touches a summer on the ball. Just getting out there and getting yourself better will get you to that next level, and you got to have that drive. And I think there's a lot of boys up here that have that drive, and I look forward to getting to see them going on. So, and I'll talk to the players and the parents about what we see and what Justin and I talk to, and the college coaches that I've spoken to who've seen some of these guys play with. They didn't even know college players or coaches were watching them, which is great because they put in the work without even knowing it. So, but again, it's something that I'm excited for. I think it's something that we're going to see a lot of success. I saw it at the Lake Center game. There was a lot of emotion after the game. It was a tough fought game. Parents over there that saw it, guys playing through injuries, losing players in the middle of the game, not having, running out of subs. It was a difficult game. They put everything into it, and they were upset with the loss at the end. It was, didn't want to see the season come to the end, which, Justin and I didn't want to either. And that says a lot, because we could have easily been like, okay, we lost and walked off the field, and that was the end of it. But there was that desire to do better, and hopefully it starts right here in the off season. And I'm not saying that you got to do soccer only. As a coach of multiple sports, coaching track, I encourage every one of these boys to get out and play another sport, whether it's wrestling or basketball or track or baseball. It's good to work other sets of muscles, and it prevents injuries actually in the long run. But you can't just put soccer on the back burner and focus on those other ones. Just like if you want to go on to play baseball in college or at the next level, you can't just put baseball and play only during the summer. You do that year round and you play travel. So there's lots of opportunities for these guys to get out there and do those things. And I'm always more than willing to help the parents find those places for them. There's not a lot around here. I know we're in a kind of geographical region where there's not a lot of accessible soccer at the next level, but there are opportunities. Even personally, as I'm starting to look to get my daughter in somewhere, I know I'm going to have to drive 25 to 35 minutes to get her to play somewhere at that higher level than just playing rec league soccer, to get that level. And it's a great opportunity to get coaching from someone besides Justin and I, because I get to see a different perspective of how the game could be and should be played. So, but again, looking at the season, a wonderful season. I mean, we could always, as Monday quarterbacks, sit here and nitpick every game and go through it. But I think some of the most important things is there was times where we got knocked down, but we got ourselves back up, and we played some great competition this year. And there's not one game where I think we just folded and said, okay, we're even JFK, had state-ranked teams, number 6 in the state at the time when we were playing them. We fought them until the end. We didn't just give up and pack it in. And what I always appreciate is these guys, they go out and they play our game, rather than some teams where they'll just sit and try to, manage and try to keep it close. We went out and played the way we needed to in all the games, and they were adaptable. They're very coachable. They listen to everything we asked them to do, and they definitely went out and made a great season out of it. Again, one of the top 10 seasons in school history with 8 wins. The amount of goals that we scored, and we can talk a little bit more about that when I talk about them individually, but again, just a phenomenal job, and again, it's 100% credit to these guys, so let's show our appreciation for these guys one more time. So now I'd like to talk about each group. So freshmen, what I'd like you to the freshmen are here, just come up, stand right up in front so your parents can get some nice pictures of the group of freshmen. And I'll just talk about them individually. It won't be as long, so. Because I do like to make sure I recognize each and every athlete, whether they're here or not, so I do like to go through. And it's a great opportunity. Boys, I hope you listen, because I will give you, some things that maybe you can work on in the off season to get you at that next level. So I'm just looking down the line. I guess I'll start with Corbin here. Corbin, jumped right in right from the beginning of the season, started for us on defense. My brother told me when he was coming up that, he could be an impact player right from the start. His work ethic definitely proved that, and he's, unfortunately, had to play through nagging injuries all year. If we can get him some new ankles, I think we'll be good to go. But for those of you that are at that LCC game, they're in the playoffs at the end, that is just a testament to his dogged determination. The trainer saying, sit here, relax, and he said, Coach, I'm ready to go back in. He saw what was going on. He got out there, continued to play on about a leg and a half, if that, maybe only a leg, once he put everything together, and had a phenomenal season. I have big expectations for him looking at next year. Obviously, we're losing, one of our senior defenders as well. I'm expecting Corbin to be able to slide into that leadership role of that back line, along with Tristan over there. Those two guys are really going to cement our back line as we look forward. We might even change the way we play, where we might play three in the back, knowing that we have these two guys, which is hard to believe. I'm sitting here saying that as sophomores, we might move to three in the back rather than four in the back. And two of them being sophomores, which is not really heard of, but the way they play and work off each other, I'm very confident that if we do decide to move to a different formation like that, that we can definitely count on these two guys, Corbin leading those guys back there with Tristan, to be able to organize and get our defense to where we need. So just a phenomenal year. I don't ever expect any freshman to come in and make an immediate and start every game from the beginning and play all the minutes, if not majority of the minutes. But we're very fortunate to have Corbin and be able to do that. Now, is there room for improvement? Yes. And, we want him to work on, maybe controlling emotions a little bit more, which he did a very good job. There's times where he said, Coach, take me off, I need to come out, which I'd rather take that any day than getting yourself into a situation where the referee's going to be the one to tell you to go off. Foot skills is something we can always work on. We have a couple defenders, and I know the parents in the crowd love to see the ball get booted really far, and I hate that word, booted, because, we hear it, the defender kicks it, and it flies 50 yards forward, and now everybody's like, yay, great kick, good job, honey, and then it's like, who did it go to? It just kicked down the field, and now we turned it over, and we're getting attacked again. So, I would say this to all my defenders who are going to be returning next year. And we saw this in the video, I think the Crestwood video, we watched it, and we saw an immediate change the very next game. Instead of just kicking the ball and hoping we won it up top, we started to control the ball and move the ball out of the back. And that's something we're definitely going to work on next year as we move forward. We want to be able to possess the ball and start working our offense out of our back. And that starts by keeping possession rather than just kicking it really far. Is there times to kick it really far? Sure, if you're the last one or you got it. But our first touch and our first kick should always be with purpose, and that's something I told these guys going forward. So next we got Cole over there. Cole came to us as a freshman doing two sports. Time is a huge thing for him. Again, another one. My brother will say, you know what, he could be an impact player for you right off the start, right off the bench. A little knee issue, again, another nagging issue. Brooke is our savior, but had a little knee issue throughout the season that would maybe from game to game limit his minutes. Maybe we wanted a little bit more. And he said, Coach, I got to come out. My knee's bothering me. So hopefully in the off season we can get that fixed up. Although I do know in middle school it was bothering him too. So hopefully we'll get this fixed up here this season. So I'm going to be leaning heavily on all these freshman players to be playing significant minutes next year. So we need them to be 100% healthy coming forward. I know he had a good golf season. He was there just earlier tonight, receiving his awards for that. Or was it tonight? It was earlier. Oh, you didn't go? Okay, well, he has awards waiting for him that he won't be getting here because they were at golf. So again, another one, very good with the ball on his feet. One of our better players, very tight quarters, be able to keep the ball. He does a great job of keeping his shoulders over the ball, which keeps it tight to his feet. He doesn't need to have that long. We can get him to get his head up and get the ball off his feet a little bit quicker and do a little more give and goes where he gets it back. And I think we'll make him really dangerous next year as we move into that attack. He might find himself in maybe a little different role too, where he has a little more importance in the middle of the pitch rather than the outside. So we'll get Tristan next. Tristan, again, he and Corbin back there, I can't say enough. Rarely do coaches put freshmen out there starting on defense. Again, another one. I was excited. I got to watch him play indoor last year with these high school guys. I knew right then when I was watching, I said, okay, he has physicality, what it takes to play at the high school varsity level. And Tristan was one of those ones that was a perfect example when we finally got, because we had all of our games rescheduled because the track was being worked on. When we finally got to sit down and watch some video, and we watched the Crestwood video, we saw an immediate change in the way Tristan played the game, and it took him to the next, probably skip 2 or 3 levels of not only his ability was always there, but I think once he visually got to see what we were asking for him to do, it totally flipped the way he played the game and made him a lot more dangerous. He was always a good defender, could track down guys, run along even the fastest seniors on the other team, put in a hard tackle. But then after we won the ball, what do we do next? And watching that film, we really saw him flip the switch of, oh, now I'm not just in middle school kicking the ball and hoping we go somewhere. Now I'm part of the offense. We encouraged him to get higher up the pitch, be able to get involved into the offense. Has this great foot, able to switch the field diagonally and change the play game very quickly. Again, one of those ones that when he started playing the balls with purpose rather than just kicking it really hard, a tremendous amount of offense was generated out of the back with him. So again, something I'm looking forward to next year, just continue progressing and learning and visualizing the game to be able to know what to do next. So. Dylan brings a lot of speed to our team, very coachable. He's one of those ones where if we ask him to do it, he's going to do exactly what we ask him to do. Good, sometimes a little too good because then we need him to adapt because soccer, as you guys have seen, is a very fluid game. It's not football. You can't stop and change the play every time. So again, something I would hope Dylan is able to just get more playing time outside of high school. Obviously, he got a ton of playing time this year with us, but the more he's going to be able to get, whether it's indoor with, if we can get a team together or if it's playing with another team in the spring and summer, the more he gets on the pitch and starts playing, the more he's going to learn. It's amazing how much he learned just this year at the varsity level. And I think for all these freshmen, it's something they learn very quickly that it's not middle school. You can't just be the fastest guy on the field anymore, because everybody at the varsity level is generally pretty fast, especially when you're playing against guys three years older than you. Dylan's not afraid to use his body, use his head. That's something that we definitely need, all of our players to do more, is willing to get up and head balls. It's one of the areas where we struggled a little bit this year. Set pieces, corner kicks. We saw throw-ins at Newton Falls. It's something, we need someone who's willing to get up and challenge those bigger guys to win headers, so that way we're able not only to defend, but we can also turn it into an attack for us. And I think Dylan's one of those guys that's going to be able to do that for us. So look forward to seeing that next year too, as he continues to work on that. Who do we get? Is that Dominic next? So Dominic, again, another one. I can say this about all the freshmen, but he put in a ton of work this year. He may not have saw as much of time on the field as maybe he had hoped, but that doesn't always mean that you're not a huge part of the team and that you're not getting better. I wish we had a JV program. He's one of the guys that would benefit tremendously from having a JV program, getting that more playing time. But we saw growth out of him all year. Coming in, very raw. Again, a natural athlete, which that's the first part to be able to play at the varsity level. You got to be physical enough and strong enough to play at the varsity level. Skill-wise and technicalities, that's something he can continue to work on on in the off season, getting out and getting touches on the ball, watching soccer as much as he can, so he can learn the ins and outs of it. So he knows where to be on the field, when to be there, where to move around. And with his work ethic, I think he can easily get there and be a huge, valuable part of the team next year. And we look forward to seeing what he can bring to the program for us next year, one year more into it. So, and that's for Dominic. And then what do we have? Ethan next. Ethan, again, I didn't get to see him playing indoor in the winter. I came one game, the third session, and it's the one game he didn't make it to. But I know he played with the boys in indoor. I heard that we have this newer student who didn't play with the middle school, but was going to be at the high school with us because he came to school a little bit later in the school year. And had been playing outside of soccer. So Justin and I were very excited to hear that we had somebody coming into the program that had been playing outside of those October to or August to October months. Ethan, I think very early in the season, maybe wasn't quite ready for the physicality yet. I didn't maybe realize what it was like to play against 16, 17, 18-year-olds even on the field. But as we got him in more, he found his footing. Became a huge part of us, the program here towards the second half of the season, giving us a tremendous amount of minutes to be able to go out there and give some of these guys a break who in the past couple of years maybe never got the opportunity to get a break, which it's very important to be able to sub and get guys. And I know a lot of you may be out there thinking, well, you don't sub very much. That is true. I don't sub as much as maybe some other coaches. But when you do get a sub and you do get in there, you got to make sure you use those opportunities, whether it's 2 minutes or 20 minutes. And Ethan was one of those ones. As the season went on, those 2-minute ones started to become 5 minutes, which then became 7 minutes, and then became 10 minutes, and then became 20 minutes. Toward the end of the season at the Lake Center game, we expected him to play that pretty much the whole half, and get in there. So, again, has very good vision. We have big plans for him again next year, along with all these guys up here. So, and then our last freshman we have up there is Anderson. Anderson, I'm really excited about. In the minutes that we saw him play, and they were limited. We'll be honest, they were limited. The vision and the touch that he has on the ball is something I think all these guys need to work towards getting. Physicality, endurance, that's going to be Anderson. That's going to be your number one thing over the summer. Work, run as much as you can. Start lifting, get physical, because the talent that you have that you could bring to the varsity level, you got to be physical, right? And we saw how physical varsity level is playing. If you're not willing to get in there and go shoulder to shoulder, you can have the best touch, you can have the best vision, but if you're not going to be able to get in there and fight for the ball, that's going to really kind of limit how much opportunities you get. So Anderson, it was the Garfield game, and we were on the bench, and Anderson duped the guy, he touched it, inside and then cut him, and we were all on the bench going, oh my goodness. But that's the stuff that we saw him do at practice and we saw him do in the games. But again, it's something, Anderson, we want to see that more, but we want you to get the physicality and the fitness is the biggest thing that's going to be your best benefit for you over the summer. So again, the freshman class of 2023, so thank you. All right, sophomore, come on up. You get the stage all to yourself. Danny and Andy weren't able to attend this evening. They had prior engagements. So just touch on them real quick. They, again, a huge part of this team. They were part of that team last year where we only had 13 guys. They benefited from a tremendous amount of experience getting to play a lot of minutes as a freshman, which really showed when they showed up this year. So it's again something that we're looking forward to. They're both going to play a big part of the program again next year as we move forward. And so they do have awards here tonight. We'll just have to get it to them. But Charlie here, Charlie, he's full of confidence, which I like. I remember in the beginning of the year, I think the first time I met him was at the camp that we were going on. And Charlie brings a lot of different attributes to the field and to the team that, he said, I'm a goalie at one point, and then we saw him on the field, and then, it's hard to determine sometimes with Charlie because he likes to joke around, which I loved too, and then we'll see him at practice yard around, and we're like, okay, is he here, is he there? And then we put him out on the field, and we're like, oh wait, do you see that touch he just had, or you see that pass that he just made? So definitely it's there. Charlie, what we challenge you is to show us it's there all the time. Because again, I think Charlie's someone who definitely could add a lot to the program in the coming year or two. So Charlie, I would challenge you again, in the off season. I know you're playing basketball, which is great. It's a great attribute because it's such a flowing game also. Being able to adapt, I think it's a great opportunity. But don't forget about the soccer ball. Make sure you're still getting touches on that ball and getting involved with that as you go forward. So, Charlie, thank you. All right, juniors, come on up. So, all right, juniors, I'll do it different this time. I'll start at the other end. Who we got? Gavin down there? Okay. All right, we got new Gavin. New Gavin down on the end. Gavin joined us this year. Never had played soccer, which is fantastic. I love to see people. In high school, I'll be honest, it's tough to try something new. It's tough to go out of your comfort zone and try to do new things. Gavin is a very quick learner, deceptively fast. In games we'd watch a game, we're like, did you just see him chase down that guy or that ball? Technically, maybe not the most sound player up on the stage, but I will tell you, soccer IQ-wise, the kid, Gavin, you picked it up so quickly. A lot of times he'd be asking Justin, am I in the right place? Am I making the right run? And all we had to say was yes. The only thing I would say, Gavin, is as much as you work, just continue getting touches on the ball all summer. And the more you can touch a ball, the more you work on juggling, the more you work on your foundation touches, those will come to you. That's something you can learn. We can't necessarily teach the right way to do things. You learn that from experience, and you learn that from listening and watching the game. And we could tell from day one when Gavin joined us to the end of the season, he's been studying. He's been doing what we've asked him to do, watching the game, learning how it's developed, watching it play. There's so much to be said about, getting out there and playing, but again, you gotta live soccer. If you want to get better, you gotta watch and get better. One of the things that I've learned in coaching here for 5 years now, and having played here myself, is a lot of soccer players, they know more about basketball, NBA, they know more about NFL, they even know more about the NHL than they do about soccer. And I would say this, if any of these guys want to get better, just start studying soccer as much as you do the other sports, because you will learn so much more, whether it's the rules or how it's played or the different strategies, formations. As much as you watch the NFL or college football on Saturdays and Sundays, start watching soccer just as much. Going to soccer games, like I said, we're very fortunate where we have a lot of university programs around here that are very good, whether it's Hiram or Walsh or Malone or Akron University. Getting out and watching those games will make you a better player as you go forward. So Gavin, tremendous job of coming in and never really playing organized soccer and then coming in and developing as much. I hope you enjoyed it enough that where you want to come back next year, because I think you'll start to see the benefits of it as you move forward into your senior year. Next we have Matt. Matt has been a tremendous amount of help for us. I'll be honest, Matt, your freshman year, I said, he's here. I'm glad he's here. Maybe he's going to work. The kid puts in more work than anybody I know, probably. I can say that about a lot of them, but I will say this about Matt. He is dedicated to it. The strides that he's made since his freshman year are 100% because of his work ethic. At practice, off the field, he's become a tremendous leader because of that. He's a 2-year co-captain, and that's just, he really dives into the team aspect of it, which is something I appreciate. It's not about him. If it means he's got to come off or maybe not start a game, he's, yes, just like any other player, they want to play, but he's very understanding of knowing, okay, maybe this is what we're doing. This is going to benefit the team. He's the epitome of the team model. It's also why he got our Pirate Award last year for us as well. Again, just one of those people, I said I had to pick somebody to go to Columbus to represent us and meet with Governor DeWine. Matt was the one I was going to send last year. Again, just a tremendous amount. His skill improved greatly last year, getting to play as many minutes as he did. Really helped to improve. Again, one of those guys who listens to us and does what we ask, and every time he comes off the field, it's Coach, did I do this right? What do I need to do? Is there something I need to change? And a lot of times you're just like, no, we're just getting a break. But it was always that, what can I do differently, or what can I do to change my play to make me better? And that's something that all of us can take notes from as we continue to go. We've got Keenan next. Keenan again. Keenan, you wrestling this year again? Yeah. So again, one of those guys who comes in here, he's I know he's in the wrestling room, weight room already. Again, that physicality definitely shows on the field, and I think last year I told him, let's hone that in. And this year he did. He definitely honed it in. And worked on his soccer skills, which is exactly what we need. It's great to be physical and be fast, but you also got to be able to have the ability to do something when you get the ball. And the growth that we saw in Keenan from last year to this year definitely showed that he was out there listening to us and doing the things. When he gets frustrated from time to time, yeah, we all do, and that's perfectly fine. But he was also one of the quick ones to say, my bad, coach, or oh, my fault, that was a bad pass, I need to fix it. And he would come over and ask us exactly, hey, what do I do? And he wasn't shy to say, I'm not sure what to do in this scenario, which is something we want all these guys to be comfortable doing, because we'd rather you come and ask, hey, if this happens again next time, what should I do, rather than just ignoring it and then maybe making the same mistake the next time. So Keenan did a great job of working towards that. And being a valuable asset off the bench for us, one of our first two subs usually off the bench for us, and being a big asset in that. So I appreciate that. Kendrick again, third year with us, has done a great job. We kind of put him all over the place this year. He started out in goalie, and then towards the middle of the season, in the season, had him on the field. Again, another one deceptively fast. Did not know he had the wheels that he has. And actually, I liked seeing him play that kind of forward outside mid position, because he does have the speed. It's something, and in the past years, when if you ever come to my practices, all my goalies have to do the same drills that the field players do. And I think Kendrick is someone who benefited directly from that, because when he did get his time on the field, his foot skills weren't so far gone that he wasn't able to be a contributor to the team when he was out there. Again, another one, even as he's sitting on the bench, he's constantly listening to what Justin and I are saying, whether it's to the boys on the field or just amongst ourselves. So when he gets out there, he knows where he needs to be and what he needs to do, which is a huge asset, and it makes Justin and I's job much easier, because we don't have to coach them from the sideline as much. So again, something looking forward into Kendrick's senior year, I see him being a very valuable asset, on the field or in goal, either place. We've seen tremendous growth, and that's something I personally experienced. My junior year, I went from playing goalie to being full time on the field. And back in college, I went back to goalie. So Kendrick's one of those ones where we can put him and adapt him where we need to benefit the team, and I think that's an important aspect. Something that I personally went through in my own high school career, when the coach took me out of goal and said, okay, I need you on the field now, rather than in goal. So Kendrick's kind of in the same position, where we're going to use him where he's going to best fit and best benefit the team. So I look forward to seeing what he does next year for us too. Carter is one of those ones, kind of like not as far as Gavin was this year, but came to us last year after not playing soccer for quite some time. He got thrust into playing a whole bunch last year, because we only had 13 guys. But because of that, he saw a tremendous amount of growth throughout the season. Again, one of those ones, tons of energy, doesn't I mean, he'd probably tell us he gets tired, but we don't see it on the field. Again, another one of those guys who will come to us and say, what do I need to do? If we need him to man mark somebody for a game, Carter, your number's up, you get the man mark. I look next year, Carter kind of filling in as we lose Trevor and filling in with Tristan and Corbin back there. When Justin and I think, maybe we're going to play back three. Carter's name comes up and Owen's name comes up a lot too. But it's something that we're looking at moving forward. We may tell Carter next year, hey, we need you to play defense a different way than we've been having to play the past 2 years. But we know very well that Carter's going to be able to adapt and to adjust to whatever style we have, whether it's man marking a guy or zone marking or playing the position that he's in. So again, there's things, and I will say the same thing pretty much for all these boys in the offseason. The more touches he gets on the ball, the more confident he'll become with it on his feet, be able to work on dribbling in the offseason. I think that's something that would benefit you a lot in the offseason. Last, for our juniors, we have Owen. I'll say I was very impressed with his game this year. He's definitely been able to fill into that center midfield, whether it's a holding mid, attacking mid, or in between. He got a lot more aggressive winning balls in the air, which is something we need, as I said earlier. We need guys who are willing to go up and challenge for the ball. I will say this, fitness is another thing, so you and your brother can just go run all the time. Justin and I knew about 20 minutes into the game, we had somebody ready because Owen said, I need a sub. Coach, I need a sub. Which I'd much rather take that than going out there and putting yourself into a position where maybe you get beat because you're tired. But I would say, Owen, next year, we need you to be able to play 80 minutes of a game. So fitness is your number one thing in the offseason. Continue getting touches on the ball. Your vision is very good with it, but fitness is going to be your number one thing. So you and your brother can just go run miles and miles and miles and miles, and then another mile when you're done. So again, our juniors, thank you very much. Okay, seniors, come on up. I kind of consider these guys seniors twice over. I've never been a part of any coaching program where we never had a group of seniors. So these guys got to be seniors 2 years in a row. Before I get started with them, Justin and I did decide to give them a little gift. We're giving each of them authentic game match ball. I didn't even clean them because my thought behind it was, I don't want these to go on your shelf. It's something, I want you guys to continue playing soccer. It's something, so they're still muddy from our last game against Garfield. But I want you guys I want you to get out there and keep playing. Don't let the LCC game be the last time you get out there and play soccer. I know Blake said he's already made the opportunity to play and represent us in the All-Star game this past Sunday. But don't let this be the last time that you play soccer. So the authentic game balls from our season of 2023 is to represent that there could be still more soccer ahead for you, whether it's organized or unorganized, whether it's coming back and doing open fields in the summer and working with us at the alumni game. I don't want the alumni game to be the next time you play an organized game of soccer. And whether you guys you'll be even years, so I hate to embarrass you in the alumni game too. So make sure you get some touches on the ball throughout the season. Because you guys will be on the even years, and Justin and I have had to fill in for them because they never get anybody. So we need all three of you to come because we need more even years guys. So they do get an authentic game ball from this season to kind of not put on your shelf, but to keep using it and keep playing throughout the season. So, as I alluded to, these guys are the only ones that got to be seniors 2 years in a row. They'll be the only ones, I'm guessing, that will get to be seniors 2 years in a row because we didn't have any seniors last year. All three of them bring a tremendous amount of soccer talent and leadership to this program. I feel very blessed and honored that these guys, these are the first seniors that I got to coach from start to finish because we didn't have any. This is my 5th year. This is the first group that I got to see come in as freshmen and finish the year or finish their career as seniors. That'll always have a special place, especially being an alumni here. That'll always have a special place for me, and I'm sure Justin as well. That you were the first group to come through and really kind of come through what we have, our vision that we have for Southeast soccer. And without these three gentlemen, we wouldn't be 8-10 this year. these young guys who came in wouldn't have developed as quickly as they did. They wouldn't have the leadership on the field and off the field that they had. All three of these guys were co-captains, and they were co-captains for a reason. It wasn't because they were seniors. This is actually the first time I've ever had 4 captains on a team. It's normally 2 captains. But Justin and I in the offseason, we were talking, and we said, you know what? Each of them brings something different. We saw Gavin step up tremendously over summer in his leadership skills. Trevor, has a great connection with a different group of the boys. Blake is probably one of the most improved players, not soccer-wise, but just as a man, as a young man developing in the 4 years that I've got to coach. And I know we've butted heads with all 3 of them at some point, at some time, whether it's on the field or at practice or whatnot. But I'm still honored to say that, these are seniors that have come through, and they have definitely helped to let these younger guys know what we expect out of Southeast soccer. And, I would definitely put these guys up against any guys from any other team in our league or in our district as to what you want your soccer program to look like. Skill-wise, personality-wise, on the field, off the field, everything that they bring and contribute to the team. So, Gavin had a tremendous year this year for us. Scoring goals in plethora, so it usually came 2 or 3 goals in a game. And the ability to work off the ball, is one of his attributes. It's one of those things, I kind of told Owen I need him to play defense. It's something I told Gavin, I think last year that I need him. And he picked up football this year and it was playing, again, a dual sport athlete for us, kicking field goals on Friday nights and then coming playing for us. It's terrible to see the last game go down with an injury. Nobody ever wants that. I know I didn't want that for him, and I know that's not what he wanted. The goal that he scored in that Lake Center is just a perfect cap to his career, the way he brought that ball down, turned, and shot. It was everything he's developed from his freshman year into his senior year. That wouldn't have happened his freshman year. But by his senior year, that was something he was routinely doing. If it was putting it off the post, the Garfield game, where he puts it off the post in the playoff game, it's goals like that. And it's not just the goals either, it's a lot of the movement off the ball. He became a threat that other teams had to watch. So when he moved, they had to have someone move with him, which created space for these other guys to be able to do things and be more dynamic. Gavin, I greatly appreciate the past 4 years, and I wish you the best of luck going forward. Trevor, he's been our defense for the past 2 years, 3 years. He was back there. He's all over the field. We did learn this year he's not an outside defender. I think the JFK game proved that to us. But I'll put him up against any other center back out there. He can read the game like no other. Again, another one who played through injury a lot of times. And you get dinged up on defense a lot. I mean, these defenders will all tell you, you get beat up, and you just got to be able to. I remember his dad came over at one game and said, just buck up and get back out there. You got to go out there, and sometimes that's the mentality that you need as a defender at the varsity level. You just got to be able to play through the pain and get up and keep going. Especially when you bring as much security to the back. And I think that's Trevor and his defenders back there is a big reason why we saw the success we did. We limited the amount of shots and we limited the amount of quality shots on our goalies this year. And our goalie is something that we're going to have to work on the next year or 2 years. And I think our defense really helped to limit the amount, not only the amount of shots, but the amount of quality shots other teams were getting on us. They made the goalies' jobs much easier because the saves were much more predictable for those goalies to be able to get out there and make those saves. And like I said, Trevor is flying all over the field. Every time I go to a league meeting or a district meeting, there was the guy with the ponytail, and I said, "Yep, that's the one." They're like, "Oh, okay, we know who you're talking about." So again, Trevor, thank you, and I appreciate everything you've done for the program over the past 4 years. So thank you. And then we have Blake, and I'll be open and honest. Blake's probably the one I butted heads with most from day one to day zero. And that's not a bad thing. That means he's out there and he's passionate about it too. He has ideas, he has thoughts of what things should be going, and I don't mind it. Never once was he punished for any ideas that he brought or anything he had to say. Again, I alluded to this earlier. Probably if I had to most improved player over the 4 years, I told this to Blake, I think at Lake Center, the most improved player I've seen probably in my 13 years of coaching high school soccer would definitely be Blake. And I'm not just talking soccer skills, although there is that aspect. His vision of the game, the way it developed over from freshman year to the senior game on Sunday when he was representing us over at Stowe High School. Watching how he can bring a ball down on the field and put a 40-yard cross to a guy that nobody else saw standing there because he had his head turned and looking earlier before he ever received the ball. Again, one of our players that other teams have to mark, our leading goal scorer for this year, I think it was 16 goals, I think is what he ended up with. Again, just a tremendous amount of growth over the years as a young man, and again, watching what he does, not just on the soccer field, but off the soccer field and the things that he's involved with like junior fair board and stuff like that, just goes to show how much leadership skills he brings to the club or to the program. As a 2-year captain, he definitely embraced that role. He was one of the first guys at open fields. You need a ride, I'll get you a ride. I'll get you here, I'll bring you, take you home, whatever it may be. He was very much made our freshman class feel very welcome, as well as all 3 of our seniors. I haven't seen that in many programs where the seniors really embrace our younger guys as much as they did, and I think that helped a tremendous amount. When you have a large, we had 11 or 12 of our guys were underclassmen, so they outnumbered the upperclassmen, but it was really an opportunity that our seniors took and really took those guys under their wings and gave them the guidance that they needed and became their friends before we even started school, which always makes it easier for our young guys coming into school. So seniors, I thank you. I wish you the best of luck, and let's get on to the awards part. So this part will be a little bit shorter and sweeter. It'll be more to the point, but like I said, in the past years, I've always just as I talked about, I handed them all their awards, and then they walked off and nobody knew really what they were getting. So we're gonna go through each award, and when we call your name, Justin will hand you your award. For those that aren't here, we'll still announce their names. We'll just send it off to the side, and then either Mr. Yule or myself will get it to you guys, or the ones that aren't here. So there's quite a few awards that we're going to have tonight. There's 2 Scholar Athletes Awards. I'll just kind of go over those. There's the Southeast Scholar Athlete. That is a student who has a 3.4 GPA or higher, and is part of the soccer program. There is the PTC Scholar Athlete. Again, that is a 3.4 GPA, and as an educator, that's probably the most important thing to me, making sure that they have the grades. And they also have to earn a letter to become a PTC Scholar Athlete. We're also going to have a Portage Trail Conference. That's the league that we were in. It was our last year that we're in it. We'll be in the MVAC next year, which I believe stands for Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference. So we'll be in that next year. There's 12 soccer teams. 11 of our games are already scheduled, and we'll be playing 11 conference games next year. But the PTC honors, we'll go through those. Then there's going to be, this is a mouthful, the Greater Akron Scholastic Soccer Coaches Association Awards. So that's GASSCA. That's our district, so that's even higher than our league. In our league, there's Lake Center, us, Brittstown, and St. Thomas are in that. JFK is in Trumbull County. So it's pretty much Stark, Akron, and Portage County, and some of Wayne County is our district. So to get onto those awards is even higher, more prestigious. I want to say there's 15 teams in our Division III of that district. So those are even higher. We'll also have our freshman numerals, so all of our freshmen, minus Cole, yours are at golf, will be receiving their freshman numerals. And then we have certificate participation, we have our letter winners, and then we have some special awards at the end that we'll do. So we're going to start with our scholar athletes. And again, as an educator, boys, this is something I expect, and I would hope everybody gets to at some point. I think we had 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12 this year, which is great. That's over half the team is a scholar athlete, meaning they've earned a 3.4 or higher. So we'll start with, we did have Aiden Cogswell. He is a scholar athlete. And if you want to clap or take pictures of boys, just come on over here. Justin will hand it to you, and then you can show it off to your parents. Anderson Bowers, come on down. Ethan Brittingham. Danny Allen, which we didn't get one printed, so we'll get one printed. Kean Romeo. Carter Oyster. Owen Bowers. Matt Fields, we didn't get one printed for you either, so we skipped you, sorry. But Matt Fields also. You can sit on the right. There you go. Trevor Gump. Gavin Burkham, and Blake Dillon. So all my underclassmen, you'll notice all 3 seniors were on that list. So that's something I expect all of us to be able to get to. Some of you are really close. I see all your GPAs. Some of you are like 3.3s, 3.2s. So you're really close, but we just need to get that bumped up. So the next ones are let's see. Oh, okay, so side note, the Portage Trail Conference also did not get it printed. They had a printing issue. So, but these ones, so I just need you to stand up to be recognized. They will be handed to you either at school or we'll get the Biomed kids theirs. So these are also the ones who also earned a letter and get it, and had the 3.4. So we have Ethan, once again. We have Danny. We have Kian. We have Carter, Owen, Matt, Trevor, Gavin, and Blake. You guys gotta really. This is the most important one. This is the one you gotta be like, I did it, because not only did you earn a letter and play soccer, but you also kept the grades up. Which, you know, a lot of you don't know. A lot of these guys aren't just taking the basic high school stuff. They're taking the next level. They're at Maplewood. They're doing the higher career level stuff. So it's not like they're just taking gen math as their senior. They're taking college courses and doing this. So it's very impressive to be able to do. So you guys, you should, I mean, that is, and I guess maybe because I'm an educator, that's, to me, those are some of the most important awards. That's why I started with them tonight. So congratulations on all of our scholar athletes. All right, the next one, this is our league. So for those of you who didn't know, we were part of the Portage Trail Conference, which consisted of, consisted in soccer, because that's what we're here for. It consisted of ourselves in Ritztown. We were the 2 public schools, and then we had 3 parochial schools of JFK, Lake Center Christian, and St. Thomas Aquinas. So what we do, we get together at the end of the season, the coaches, and we vote for honorable mention, second team, and first team athletes. Each league does it a little bit differently. Some leagues just say, you know what, first place team, you get X amount of athletes. Second place team, you get X amount, and it works its way down to the last place team. The PTC, we actually vote every year. It's like a 3-hour meeting. We go in, we put up names, we talk about each player, and we vote. That's why some years, the last place team will have 2 or 3 people on first team, which always kind of baffled me. Because if you had 2 or 3 people on first team, how did you end up in last place? But nonetheless, that's how the PTC chose to do it. So, you know, recognize the players. For those of you that didn't know, our league record this year was 3-5, which put us in 4th place. So it went, the league champions were Warren JFK, and then it was Ritztown, then Lake Center Christian, then us, and then St. Thomas Aquinas was the 5th place team. So we ended up in 4th, which is a great improvement over last year. Again, just part of our league. We had some great battles with that, and because of that, we were very well recognized with the PTC honors. So I'm going to start with honorable mention. Honorable mention this year goes to Corbin Klacka as defense. Second team, we have Matt Fields and Owen Bowers. Matt received second team forward, and Owen earned second team midfield. So we do it by position. We do defense, we do goalie, defense, midfield, and forwards. First team, again, I think the coaches recognized and really understood what we have. We got one in every position, so I think we can go and kind of understand, know who we're. First team forward, Gavin Burkett. We get a pass for 15 coach. First team midfield, Blake Dillner. And first team defense, Trevor Gump. So to give you an idea, there's only 4 players on each first team. So there's 4 defenders, 4 offense, or 4 defenders, 4 midfield, and 4 forwards. JFK earned about 2 in each position. So it goes to show how hard these guys worked and the recognition they got. There was the Brittstown and LCC, there was opportunities where they didn't even get a guy on first team. And these guys were able to supersede them in the voting by the coaches. So these awards are by the coaches. So congratulations to PTC honors. The next one, working our way up the chain of, I guess, if you want to say recognition of honors, is the mouthful on the Greater Atkins Scholastic Soccer Coaches Association. So it's the same ordeal. 15 coaches, it might be 16 coaches, I can't remember. Get in a room, we drive to Brunswick on a Sunday morning, and we all get in there and we argue about who needs to be on what team. That is also where all-state voting comes from. Generally, and out of ours, so there's the Akron, there's the Trumbull, there's the Cleveland, Sandusky, Central Ohio, Southwest, and Southeast Ohio. Generally, the top 3 to 4 will make all-state. Generally, number 5 and 6 will make second team all-state. There's been years there we don't get anybody on first or second team. We just don't have players, we don't get the votes, and we don't get anybody in there. This year, again, I think we were honored very well, which goes to show because those are the same coaches who vote for our seeding come playoff time, which is how we were able to improve from 33 out of 34 to 11 out of 32. So there's 2 less teams in our district. There's actually 1 dropped out. But it's a tremendous amount of respect that coaches outside of our league have for us, and I think they see what we're building as a program, and because of that, we got a good amount of recognition. So with our GASCA honors, honorable mention, again, Corbin Klacka. And as a freshman, that speaks volumes. As a freshman, to be able to have these coaches recognize you, it means you left an impression. For these coaches to know who you are and to vote for you, that means you left some sort of impression, and generally a positive impression on them as we go. Honorable mention, Owen Bauer, also Owen Bauer's honorable mention. We have 2 honorable mentions. Second team, we were able to get 2 onto second team. Gavin Burkett. And they don't do this by position. This is just by, it could be all forwards, it could be 5 goalies. It's just you get the vote, and we vote and we take a count. Also earning second team was Trevor Gump. Earning first team, and again, I mentioned earlier, getting to represent us in our senior all-star, which is again voted on. I'll be honest, I put all 3 of them up. And I said, I'll let the room decide who they're going to choose. The room decided, and that goes to Blake Dillner. Congratulations. So those are our district or league ones. Next up, we're going to hand out some freshman numerals. So our freshmen will be receiving the 27. So when they do letter, and if you choose to give them a letterman jacket, they'll have the 27 to put on there. So Aiden will have one. Anderson, come on up, receiver, and Anderson's also receiving the freshman numerals. There you go. We'll kind of go through. Dominic, come on up. Ethan. Dylan. Cole, yours are at golf. But Cole got his as well. They're at golf. You'll have to get them later. You have to get a hole-in-one to earn them. Oh, here they are. Oh, we got a special delivery. Hold on, right here. Stop what we're doing. Cole, it's all on you. You got the other ones too? I have everything. Okay. Tristan, come on up. And Corbin. And then receiving his 25 is Gavin, new Gavin. So Gavin will be receiving 25. So we have OG and new G. So we have OG Gavin and new Gavin. So new Gavin, at least you get to be OG next year. I guess that's a good way to look at it. Okay, we have a couple of earning certificates of participation. That goes to Aiden Cogswell here and his. Anderson Bowers, come on up. You got your certificate of participation. Put in a little work for this season. Again, we appreciate it. And you know what you need to do next year. So we're going to look forward to that. Dominic, come on up. Again, appreciate all the work that you put in this year. And Gavin, new Gavin, come on up. Now we have our letter winners, so I'll kind of go through what they're going to receive. Our letter winners will also earn or get a certificate of participation. First year letter winners, you will receive, let's display it for everybody. You'll receive the S with the soccer pin. Your goal is to have 4 of these pins by the end of your career. So you'll receive your S to put on your jacket if you choose to get a jacket, and the pin. Second and third, sorry, that's kind of like the off year. You just get a pin. But still, you add that pin to your stuff. And then 4 year letter winners will receive a plaque also with their pin. So we'll start with our first year letter winners. We have Ethan, come on up. So Ethan's earning his letter and the certificate. There you go. Let's see who we have next. Dylan, come on up. Cole, yours is on special delivery. It's coming. And your golf one too. Your golf certificate too. And your golf pin. Yeah, he needs a soccer one, I guess. Yes, you got 2 pins and 2 certificates. So he's also receiving. He had golf award ceremony tonight too that he wasn't able to attend because he's here. Let's see who we got next. Tristan, come on up. Receiving a letter. Corbin, come on up. And lastly, we have Charlie. Charlie already has his numerals from basketball last season, and then he's earning his letter this year and his pin. Now these are our second year letter winners. They're not with us this evening. They had a prior commitment, but Andy and Danny also received their second year, so they'll be getting a pen with their certificate. So congratulations. Matt earning his second. Keegan also earning his second. Kendrick earning his second. And Carter earning his second. And I will say, any athlete to be earning 3 or more letters in a sport in their career is a phenomenal job. It's the hard work and dedication that they put into it. So earning his third year is Owen Bowers. Also earning his third year is Trevor Gump. And we do have 2 4-year letter winners that are earning plaques. So Gavin, OG Gavin, and Blake. Again, a tremendous amount of work that goes into a career to be able to earn 3 or more letters in a single sport. It says a lot to be able to come in and do those things. I also have captain's awards. So our 4 co-captains come on. You have a pin and you get the medallion. So our 4 co-captains, we have Matt, Blake, Trevor, and Gavin. So we do some special awards. We have your traditional defensive player, offensive player, and MVP of the season, which we'll be handing out tonight. But we also have a Pirate Award, and we added a new one this year. Justin and I were talking. We're half tempted to call it the Richie Haas Award, but we're calling it the Next Man Up Award. It's the award that we're going to start with tonight. The Next Man Up Award, if anybody remembers watching Richie play, the kid played with a tremendous amount of passion, would play through any injury. He gave it his all. He never once left an ounce of energy on the field. Everything was spent. After every game, he was beat. He played through every kind of injury, every kind of possibility that there was. He never... whatever we asked him to do, he was, you go play goalie? All right, I'll play goalie. I'll do it, whatever. If you want me to do this, do that, okay, we'll go out there. It was never a question of, you sure you want me doing this, coach? I'll do whatever you need me to do. And we had a player this year that kind of set that same tone, and we wanted to make sure he was recognized for that. And it's something we're going to continue throughout the rest of our program while I'm here, because it is something that is important, because it does show a lot of not just courage, but that dedication to your craft, to what you're doing. It shows that you have the heart and the passion that it takes. You may not be the most skilled player out on the field. You don't have to be. Richie was not. I just saw Richie the other day when I picked up a pizza and I was talking to him. And we still talk about the things that he did out there, and he's still very appreciative of being able to play and go through this, and it taught him a lot. And that's something I think that when Justin and I were talking about this award, we're like, that's the kind of mentality we want to see. We want to see the Richie Haas mentality out on the field, and we want to see that Richie inspired going on. So this year, in our inaugural year of the Next Man Up Award, goes to Corbin Klacka. I don't want to take the suspense out of these next 3. But anybody who followed our team, followed these guys over the past 4 years, I think you all can, you already know what's coming up next. It's a repeat of last year, defensive, offensive, and MVPs. So seniors, go ahead and stand up. I said it earlier, and I'll say it again. These guys have shown everything. So Gavin's our offensive player, Trevor's our defensive player, and then Blake's going to be our MVP again once this year. You guys, I hope you see the hardware that they're bringing home. It's not just being given to them. Everything that they've been handed to tonight has been earned over their 4 years. They put in the work, they put in the craft, they put in the time, they put in the effort. And it's definitely deserving, and I think anybody sitting out there, it'd be hard to argue otherwise that these 3 young men are not what really sets the tone for our program. Not to say I don't see it in the other guys. I see it in a lot of these guys sitting up here. I see that it's possible in some of these young men standing up here. But these young, and I'm not one to just give out awards to seniors either. That's not something Justin and I have always believed in. There's been many years where I look and I say, I did give Most Valuable Player to a sophomore one year when I was at Kent. She now plays professionally. She was deserving of it. But these guys have definitely earned every piece of hardware, whether it's the scholar athlete, all the way to these special team awards. And again, I think it's just a testament to what they put in and the work that they put in. So congratulations, gentlemen. I appreciate everything you've done. We do have one last award. I kind of, when I was at Kent, it was called the Rough Rider Award, so I created it for our program. I called it the Pirate Award. I'd like to say it's the award that if I had to pick somebody to go to Columbus and represent us and go to the All Ohio State meeting or coaches meeting or go meet Governor DeWine and represent Southeast, not just as a soccer player, but as a community member, as a scholar. This is the person that kind of fills that role. We've had some great winners over the past that, you look back and they're doing great things after graduation and after their high school career. It's something that when Justin and I sit down and we start looking at these end-of-year awards and we're going, a lot of these guys could be arguably the one that receives that, but there's one that kind of stood out to us this year, maybe a little bit unexpected to us, kind of stepped up in his own quiet way. Again, it's someone that I know if Justin and I, were asked, what do you think of this player? Where would you put them? Again, doesn't always have to be the most talented person, doesn't always have to be the most vocal person, but it's someone that you would have confidence in no matter what situation you put them in, that they're going to go out and they're going to represent everything that you've put our heart and soul into this program. And so that's where this Pirate Award came from. That's what we kind of carry with it when we're looking at the award. And this year it goes to Owen Bowers. So I believe that takes care of all of our awards. I would like to leave, before I turn us loose and the boys go eat all the cookies and drink the juice, and you guys can get pictures with them and on stage or whatnot. I will say this, get out and play. Play as much as you can. Organized play is even better. I did put out the feelers of an indoor team. I think I've had 3 people come back. I've had no parents volunteer to run it. We have money in our account to pay and offset the cost of running indoor. I just need to know, I cannot put the team under my name because OSHA will not let me do that. So I need a parent or someone over the age of 18 to step up. First session at NC is already started, but we can definitely get started for the second and third like we did last year, which would start after winter break. And luckily knowing the owner, I can get us so we do 3 o'clock every day or every Sunday like we did last year, or 2 o'clock, whatever works best for you guys. That way it's consistent, it's not rotating. Springtime. Like I said, there's boys up here. I wish I could win the lottery because they should be playing year round, and I know it's an expensive sport, and there's a lot of travel, and we don't have a lot of clothes. But there's ways we can get these guys out there playing, and we need to get them out there playing more and more. Justin and I will put in the work. We'll do some winter sessions here in the winter. Once winter break is over, we'll do some spring stuff as soon as the ground dries out, and we'll get outside. But it's so important that these guys get out and see other coaches, other visions of the game, so that way they can bring it back. There is a rule with OSHA that you can only have 5 from a school on a team unless it is indoor with walls or futsal, which we have futsal available in Akron. So it's again one of these things I can't emphasize enough. We got to get out and play. We've made such progress. I don't want to go backwards. I want to continue building forward. But unfortunately, Justin, myself, or my brother, or Brenda at the middle school, we can't have any part in it because again, OSHA doesn't permit that. So I need hopefully a parent or sibling that's willing to step up. And I need, for indoor, I need at least 10 boys that can commit. Because I don't want to put a team out there and then not have people show up and we have to forfeit games and we waste our fundraising money. But that's one of the reasons we fundraise, because I want these guys playing as much soccer as possible. And nothing against our seniors. I invite all of our non-seniors first. Seniors would only be a last resort if we needed to fill a body or something. So my 3 seniors, it would be open more to, but that means we have 17 other guys. So hopefully we can get 10 out of that 17 who want to play. And if we're sitting at 8 or something, we need to pull some guys that from like Waterloo or Ritztown or something, or another school, we could do that. I just hate spending our hard-earned fundraising money on other schools. And then when it comes to springtime, if anybody's interested in playing soccer, I can definitely get you and your parents linked up with some teams that would be suitable for you at the level that you're at, that you could go and play. Which I know we have lacrosse and track and other sports that we do, but I know a lot of those coaches are willing to work around it just like we are. So I have also, parents, I've also updated the Google Calendar for 2024. So all the games are on there. Practices do start August 1st. So those are on there as well. So if you want to start planning vacations or outings, then 2024 schedule is on the Google Calendar. You just got to skip forward about 8 months and you'll see them all on there. The times may change as our league. A lot of them were like 4:30, 5:30 games. Those might change. But the days are pretty accurate. We have a lot of games in August this year, so we'll be real front heavy on games, which is actually kind of nice because at the end of the season we should be able to recuperate. You can see what teams we're playing. We have 17 games and 3 scrimmages, so we have 20 games scheduled for next year, which is the max that you can have. It starts with Ravenna, and we're going to defend the keys to the Arsenal, which is the first time in 5 years that we've earned them. That I've been here, I'm not sure before that if we ever had the keys to the Arsenal since that game, but we'll start with that local rivalry. Hosting Ravenna here on Friday night football lights, or football Friday night. But again, if you ever have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, even in the off season. I do take a little break until after winter break, so I am not coaching track this year, so I should have more open time to be able to dedicate to soccer in the springtime. But again, I encourage you guys to get out and play under other coaches so you can see what other soccer looks like, not just the Justin and Curtis show. Although it is the best show, but see what other ones have to have. So I'll leave it at that, and then there's cookies and punch. Please make sure those are all eaten up and drank up before we leave. If you want pictures, now's a great time.